Hello, mighty companion. This is Earl Purdy, and I'm here to do A Course in Miracles lesson 73 from the workbook. I will there be light. 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 The Course in Miracles defines light as the truth. So you could go, I will there be truth. I will there be truth. I will there be truth. I will there be love. I will there be knowledge. The Course defines knowledge as truth. And the Course defines knowledge as absolute certainty. So you could say, I will there be absolute certainty. Today we are considering the will you share with God. Now, listen. The will you share with God is not the same as the ego, fearful mind's idle wishes, out of which darkness and nothingness arise. So the will you share with God is nothing like the will you share with the ego. The will you share with God, it has all the power of creation in it. The will you share with God has all the power of creation in it. And the Course defines creation as extension. So the will you share with God has all the power of extension in it. The ego's idle wishes, the part of the mind that thinks it's separate, the separated self, its idle wishes are unshared. And anything that is unshared has no power at all. So the ego's wishes, now your fearful thoughts wishes, your separated mind's idle wishes, its wishes are not idle in the sense that your ego thoughts, your fearful thoughts, your separate thoughts can make a world of illusions in which your belief can be very strong. Your fearful ego has made a world of false ideas in which your belief can be very strong. But the false ideas of the ego, they are idle. Indeed, in terms of creation, the ego's thoughts are idle. In other words, ego thoughts, fearful thoughts, separate thoughts make nothing that is real. Idle wishes and grievances are partners, and partners are co-makers. So when you say you want to have a partner, you are saying you want to have a co-maker in picturing the world you see. So idle wishes and grievances are partners or co-makers in picturing the world you see. The wishes of the ego, the wishes of the separate, fearful part of the mind, the ego, the wishes of the ego, the fearful thoughts, give rise to a world of grievances. And the ego's need for grievances. In other words, the fearful part of the mind needs grievances because grievances are necessary to maintain the ego, to keep the ego separate self going. Then you have to hold grievances. So the part of you that is separate and afraid, that wants to continue to exist, peoples your world with figures that seem to attack you and call for your righteous judgment. These figures that upset you become the middlemen. These things and people that upset you become the middlemen that your ego, fearful mind, employs to traffic in grievances. These figures that you seem to have grievances with because they're not acting the way that you think you want them to act. These figures stand between your awareness and your brother's reality. Beholding all the things that you are upset about and beholding all of these figures that upset you, you do not know your brothers. You do not know who these beings are, and you don't know yourself because you're busy beholding the grievances that your ego creates to maintain itself. Now breathe with me. Your will is lost to you in this strange bartering. Now, what is the strange bartering? It's when you trade guilt back and forth. I'm guilty, you're guilty. I'm guilty, you're guilty. Grievances increase with each exchange of guilt. Grievances increase with each exchange of guilt. Now, can such a world have been created by the will that you share with your creator? Did God create disaster for you? Creation is the will of you and God together. In other words, would God create a world that kills itself in himself? Would God create a world that kills? Would God create a world that kills? God? Today we will try once more to reach the world that is in accordance with your will. Today we will try once more to reach the world that is in accordance with your will. Today we will try once more to reach the world that is in accordance with your will. Today we will try once more to reach the world that is in accord with your will. The light is in the world that is in accord with your will. Because the world that is in accord with your will doesn't oppose the will of God. It is not heaven, but the light of heaven shines on it. Darkness has vanished. The ego's idle wishes of fear and attack and grievances have been withdrawn. Yet the light, the truth that shines upon this world reflects your will. And so it must be in you that we will look for your will. Your picture of the world can only mirror what is within. Your picture of the world can only reflect what is within. Your picture of the world can only mirror what is within. That means the source of neither light nor darkness can be found without. The source of neither love nor fear can be found outside. Grievances darken your mind. And so, since grievances darken your mind because you're upset, because you believe if someone else spoke or acted differently, or if some situation or circumstance changed, you would be happy. The course calls that a grievance that darkens your mind. Grievances darken your mind. And so, since grievances darken your mind, and so you look out on a darkened world, forgiveness lifts the darkness. Forgiveness lifts the darkness. Forgiveness is correct perception. Correct perception lifts the darkness. The darkness is ignorance. So correct perception lifts the ignorance, reasserts your will, and lets you look upon a world of love. Correct perception lets you look upon a world of love. We have repeatedly emphasized that the barrier of grievances is easily passed. We have repeatedly emphasized that the barrier of grievances is easily passed. Grievances are easily passed. We have repeatedly emphasized that the barrier of grievances is easily passed, and the barriers of grievances cannot stand between you and your salvation and your happiness. The reason is very simple. Do you really want to be in hell? Do you really want to be in fear? Do you really want to be broke? Do you really want to be alone? Do you really want to be in hell? Do you really want to weep and suffer and die? Do you really want to cry all the time for unhappy reasons? Do you really want to suffer? Do you really want to suffer? Do you really want to die? Do you really want to die? So forget the ego's arguments. Forget the fearful mind's arguments. Forget the world's arguments, which seek to prove that all of this fear and conflict broken into by periods in which you think you are happy here is really heaven. You know that this isn't heaven. You know this isn't the perfect happiness that God wills for you. You can't want fear for yourself. You can't want this for yourself. Do you know there is a point beyond which illusions, which are false ideas, cannot go? Suffering is not happiness, and it's happiness you really want. Such is your will in truth. Your will is that you be completely happy, permanently. And so salvation, which is right-mindedness, is your will as well. You want to succeed in what we are trying to do today. You want to succeed in what we are trying to do today. We undertake it with your blessing and your glad accord. We will succeed today. We will succeed today if you remember you want salvation for yourself. Remember you want real happiness for yourself. You want to accept God's plan for you because you share in it. And what is God's plan? Remember what God's plan is? It's merely for you to ask, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say, and to whom? That's God's plan, is for you to start asking the Holy Spirit, the voice for God within you. You have no will that can really oppose God's will. And you don't really want to oppose God's will. You don't really want to oppose God's will. You don't really want to oppose God's will for you, which is perfect happiness. Salvation is for you. Real happiness is for you. Peace is for you. Above all else, you want the freedom to remember who you really are. Above all else, you want the freedom to remember who you really are. Today, it is the ego, the false ideas, the fearful part of the mind. Today, it is that the ego that stands powerless before your will. Fear stands powerless before your will for love. Your will is free and nothing can prevail against it. Your will is free and nothing can prevail against your will. Therefore, we undertake the exercises for today. We undertake these exercises in happy confidence, certain that we will find what it is your will to find. Remember that it is your will to remember. No idle wishes can detain us. No idle wishes can deceive us with an illusion of strength. Today, let your will be done. Today, let your will be done, and end forever the insane belief that it is hell in place of heaven that you choose. End forever the insane belief that it is fear in place of love that you choose. We will begin our longer practice periods with the recognition that God's plan for salvation and peace, and only God's plan for salvation and peace, is wholly in accord with your will. Recognize that only God's plan for your happiness, which is that you ask God at all times, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? And to whom? That's God's plan. Recognize that that is wholly in accord with your will. It is not the purpose of an alien power. What we're talking about now is not the purpose of an alien power thrust upon you unwillingly. This is the one purpose. It is the one purpose here on which you and your Creator are in perfect accord, which is that you want perfect happiness, and that you know it's going to come through your asking the Holy Spirit, the voice for truth in you. Ask for that guidance in every situation. You will succeed today. Today, the time appointed for the release of you, the Son of God, the child of God, from hell and from all idle wishes. Today, when you say today, you're saying, this is a time appointed for my release from fear and from all idle wishes. This is the time appointed for my release as a child of God from all fear and from all idle wishes. God's will is now restored to your awareness. You are willing this day to look upon the truth in yourself and others and be saved. You actually will there be light. After reminding yourself of this and determining to keep your will clearly in your mind, be determined to keep your will clearly in your mind. Be determined to keep your will clearly in your mind. Tell yourself with gentle firmness and quiet certainty, I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. Then let your will assert itself. Let your will assert itself. Join with the power of God. Let your will assert itself. Join with the power of God and unite it with yourself. Put the rest of the practice period under their guidance. Put the rest of the practice period under God's guidance. Join with the power of God united with yourself, as the power of God united with yourself lead the way. Let the power of God united with yourself lead the way. Let the power of love united with yourself lead the way. In the shorter practice periods, again, make a declaration of what you really want and say, I will there be light. Darkness is not my will. I will there be love. Fear is not my will. I will there be love. Fear is not my will. This should be repeated several times an hour. It's most important, however, to apply I will there be light, today's idea, in this form, I will there be light. It's most important, however, to apply today's idea in this form immediately. Immediately apply this idea. Immediately. If you are tempted to hold a grievance of any kind, if you are tempted to hold a grievance of any kind, if you're tempted to hold a grievance of any kind, in other words, you're ready to go, if this were different, I would be happy. As soon as you're ready to go, if they were different, I would be happy. Tell yourself, I will there be light, darkness is not my will. I will there be love, fear is not my will. I will there be truth, illusion is not my will. I will that there be truth, the ego is not my will. I will there be light, darkness is not my will. So the lesson for today is I will there be light. 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 It's the same as saying I will there be love. I will there be love. I will there be love. I will there be truth. I will there be truth. I will there be freedom. I will there be freedom. I will there be God. I will there be God. I will there be light. I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. I will there be light. I will there be light. I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. I will there be light. Darkness is not my will. I will there be light. Darkness is not my will. I will there be love. Fear is not my will. I will there be love. Fear is not my will. I will there be peace. Conflict is not my will. I will there be peace. Conflict is not my will. I will there be abundance. Lack is not my will. I will there be wealth. Lack is not my will. I will there be light. Darkness is not my will. I will there be light. Okay, mighty companions, this is Earl Purdy. I have classes and videos of classes and audios of classes that you can listen to on my website, www.earlpurdy.com. So remember that you will, does this feel good? So just remember that you will there be love. Darkness, which is ignorance and fear, is not your will. Say yeah.